this next draft. So let's see what they change. So I'm very curious to see if G2 decide to change something up from this, or if they continue with what has been consistent for them. So hopefully I'd like to see them continue with their consistency. I think they've been playing very well. I think they've had a extremely good tournament. But let's see. Oh my god. My glasses are so steamed up. So again, we do see an Olaf ban come through for the side of G2 Hell though. Again, no Milio ban, they are baiting them into taking it B1, but let's see if Qlash decide that they are just going to B1 Zeri here. I think it would not be a bad thing whatsoever, and I mean, the Lucian is banned also, so maybe they are just looking to B1 Zeri. They do go with the Ahri instead. They decide it is a bigger priority for their team. Again, Lissandra response, this is something that Tifa has enjoyed playing because, again, they can look to just point and click CC lockdown. We do see a Vi coming through for the side of G2 Hell, though, so they have started to variate their draft slightly, and they've opted to go into something like this Vi early on, whereas usually they wait for their jungle pick until later. Kindred was available, and they decided not to go into it. So we'll see. I mean, they're not going to go something spicy like Vice Sport, not when they're 1-1 at the moment. So let's see what they decide to go into. There's no way they go Vlad top. Okay, so again, Kasana really opting to just go into this Nautilus. It does kind of mean it's a little bit awkward for Zeri, but I guess Kaltis is feeling confident anyway. Zeri is such a strong pick that it doesn't really matter all too much. And yeah, so we do see this Zeri come through. We're probably looking for support bans here for the side of Qlash Midnight, maybe something like the Milio and the Lulu, but no, we actually get the Yuumi banned away. I mean, I think Yuumi just does not fit the style that G2 Hell have been going with. I think maybe banning the Lulu instead would have been much more beneficial. We get Senna Jinx ban in the second rotation, which again shuts down the potential for hyper carry matching with the Zeri, but I think Lulu needs to be banned away, or they just take Lulu on R5 here, or R4 here, and then they look to get top counter on R5. So I think that's what they will be going for. This Alistair Hover, again, doesn't really mean anything. They will lock in this Lulu as predicted. And again, now you have a Zeri Lulu lane with a Vi. Again, very aggressive early game picks. Wonder if they're going to look to late invade yet again. We might see a potential 5-stack come through for the side of Qlash Midnight just to kind of try and stop that invade so that they can give ADC a little bit more room to breathe inside of laning phase. But let's see. So the Xayah comes through. Obviously, this is a big or a natural pick into something like the Vi, due to the fact that you can obviously, if Vi goes to ult, you can pop the Zeri ult, the Xayah ult, and you're still fairly safe. But now we're looking for a safe top lane pick. I mean, Set can kind of skirmish with a lot of laners, but we're probably going to see... yeah, okay. I was going to say, we're probably going to see the Ornn come through due to the fact that now this puts Set in a position where he is forced to try and fight and try and kind of do something. Meanwhile, the Ornn just has to scale it out and will give Zeri massive amounts of value. So again, we have, they're just sticking to their guns. They're going for what they're good at. They're going for what they love, and we will see if G2 manage to pull off this win. So Zeri is going to be a very big carry. She can scale pretty healthily, but we will see what actually goes down here. Again, this is... I didn't expect this to go to a final game. I mean, we do get an extra game of content, but We'll see. We'll see what they decide to go into. If Zeri does manage to get a lead early, even though she is a scaling pick, I don't know why these glasses keep... The house is so hot. These glasses keep steaming up. So Zeri does obviously want to get to her late game items, but with a Lulu, she can actually do quite a lot inside of the lane early. She has quite a lot of skirmish potential. So we'll see if they decide to really do much with that information. So yeah, let's see what they do decide to do. So again, if I am G2, I mean classic as they do, we're going to look for dragons. One thing that I do want to see from the side of Qlash though, is I want to see them actually try and contest these dragons. I want to see them try and shut down this playstyle that G2 Hell have been going with, where they just consistently look to prioritize these dragons. There's been multiple games where we have seen jungle from we've seen G2 jungle just kind of flip a dragon almost, especially even without prio, just kind of jumping on it and just looking to take it away straight away. So let's see if we can potentially get any good wards that will kind of reveal her on that objective and look to punish it. Yeah, actually, I'll take them off. So let's see. Give it 2 seconds. Okay, so now let's see what they decide to go into from here. Let's see if G2 decide they want to go for this late invade again, I mean, it's not as good in this situation due to the fact that Zeri doesn't have as much power as other ADC picks, like things like the Ezreal and the Lucian, so we're probably not going to see it. We do see double cold coming in from the ADCs. That is kind of a classic kind of pick in competitive, because obviously you get all the additional gold from it, and then when you complete it you do get 180 gold in total, which is really, really nice. Like, that's, you know, like 2/3 of a full kill, so very, very good. So you do, obviously, one thing that people don't realize is you do get a total of 450 gold from Cole, but the total profit that you get is actually only 180 gold. The good thing is, though, it does give that 3 health on hit, which does allow you to kind of stay alive in lane a little bit more, especially when you're playing something like Ezreal or Zeri, where the on hit is extremely valuable. So yeah, we will see where they decide to go from there. So we do have a so they're not actually deciding to fake leash, they're just going. So we are getting this kind of skirmishing in bot lane. We do have the Xayah and Nautilus. Obviously, if Nautilus does get a hook and Zeri manages to get her feathers into an E, that is going to be really, really huge for the overall kind of trade potential of the lane. But Sejuani deciding to start topside and part into bot. The thing is, in the last game, the Sana had a really good pick for the game in the Yasuo. Doesn't get it this time, which does kind of mean that it's a little bit there's not as much value. I mean, I don't think Yasuo was banned, right? Did they ban the Yasuo? I don't think so, right? No, it didn't ban the Yasuo. So, I mean, I guess it doesn't have as much value when they don't have that Seraphine ultimate that they're kind of relying on quite heavily. So, we'll see kind of where they decide to go to from here. So, again, Vi looking to come into bot. Oh, sorry. Well, she's pathing into top. Just because she does have a Zeri and a Lulu lane. She doesn't want to get pushed in by the Xayah and Naut and then not be able to full clear. Obviously, a ward does spot her on this Krug camp, and Sejuani is around bot side, so we could potentially see some form of gank on this bot lane right now. Especially considering they do have a ward in that bush, so they know that the ward has come through from the side of G2. So we will see what they decide to do from here now. Sheena is pathing into this top crab. I'm going to go and see if there's anything available inside of Delicate's jungle, but she won't find anything. Does get that classic ward down that she has been relying on quite heavily, which will spot the Sejuani when she does go to clear the top side again. So at this point you can communicate to your bot lane that there is a big chance that Sejuani could be there, and then that means that, you know, the Zeri Lulu isn't going to really die. One of the big things with Zeri, obviously, is when she uses her E, she can jump over the wall, so any kind of gank, as long as Lulu is in a safe position, Zeri can just E over the wall, and she's fairly safe also. Good thing about Zeri into Nautilus is if Zeri goes to E in the wall and then kind of surpasses the kind of edge of the wall, then it means that if Nautilus throws Q at her, then he's actually just going to face first into the wall, and this obviously used to be even more impactful previously when Aftershock was a thing, because, you know, if you don't get that, then you if you don't get the Aftershock, it's really rough. But what's cooking? Can't stay long. It's got D&D starting in 10. Just wanted to swing by and say hello. Hello, my friend. How's it going? Hopefully you, well, I hope you enjoy your D&D session. Sounds kind of lit. Enjoy, my friend. Okay. Okay, fair enough, I guess. Probably not something to joke about too much, but I mean, you do you, my friend. So here, one of the things that we can see is the Ahri is getting a slight lead in terms of gold advantage on the Lysandra. Isn't going to really mean too much in the grand scheme of things. Lysandra does get the ability to kind of walk with the Vi and do a lot. There is a huge amount of lockdown potential for the side of G2, but this is exactly what we wanted to see. So Delicate choosing to use the bot prio that she has from the Xayah and the Nautilus to get the first dragon. Now, I think this is one of the first games where G2 has not got the first dragon. So really, really good to see from the side of Qlash. I mean, they seem to be invigorated from the win on the last game, but again, still very early days. And Kaltis has been in a lot of tournaments where, you know, I mean, to be fair, this entire roster from G2 has been in a lot of tournaments where, you know, pressure will be on. And this is a really good one to kind of see. Oh, really good cancel just on the tip of that Lysandra E to stop the Ahri from getting a reset. Ahri obviously doesn't have any mana, so it's very hard for her to stay inside of laning phase. Does have Corrupting Pot and Double Biscuits, but she was looking to get that reset off and teleport back into lane. So now not able to do that. Obviously, we do see the spellbook coming out from Tifa. Very interesting choice. Going to be looking to use as much as she can. Obviously, she can hold things like the cleanse with the Sejuani ult. She can use a TP. She can get the ignite off for like anybody in team fights. So really good. Showing versatility, which is very, very important. Again, really coming to this tournament with the win in mind. All they want to do is go for the win. And that's kind of what they've been focusing on. So, again, like this set top, really not too great in general. One of the issues when you do have things like this set top is... again, it's going to get outscaled. Now, one of the big things as well is when you are playing set, one of the things that you are looking to do is you're looking to use your R to ult somebody into the enemy team. But unfortunately, Ornn being unstoppable means that you can't actually move him into the team, which means Ornn is still going to be able to step up and be aggressive and do whatever he wants to do. So, it's one of the reasons why set isn't too good in this matchup, and also the fact that Ornn can just scale quite happily. Get to those ornaments and look to just take over the game. Now, I really like to see a really slow controlled game, especially in general. I mean, this recent patch has kind of made it a bit awkward to play slow controlled games when you have so many assassins and lethality users abusing things like Yumi's. But we do have two comps that do still want to play kind of similar to old patch, except we do have obviously Zeri, who is very much enjoying the new items, especially that Trinity Force. So in general, we are going to be looking to see what they can do with this. We do have a massive CS lead already though on the Zeri, and this is one of the most important things. Kaltis showing her mastery of ADC in general much more due to the fact that she is into a very aggressive lane of Xayah and Nautilus, especially the CC that they provide, and she is still 13 CS lead, which is almost an entire kill up on the Xayah. One of the reasons behind this is obviously it's fairly comfortable to actually CS with Zeri due to the fact that her Q is so long range that she can do quite a lot of damage in general. So, sorry, damage from range. So we will see. Again, this wave is pulling in, so they are just going to allow it to pull in and go from there. So, in general, really, really good controlled gameplay. Doesn't know that Nautilus has reset here either, though. Didn't have chance to get another T. So we are running on scraps, but it is what it is. The sacrifices I make. So, again, very calm, controlled game. The CS lead is also quite impactful for the Zeri also because they are playing cull difference. So again, a little bit more on the cull. Lulu managing to get that away. Good itemizational choice from the Lulu to actually go with the Relic Shield. Does mean that she can get those cannons from afar and keep Zeri up on CS as well. So this CS lead was a combined effort from them both. Thinning the wave off just a little bit so that they can't look to set up a dive. But again, just playing really, really safe, playing back as the Zeri. And this is how you really want to be playing Zeri. This champion is extremely powerful and at the moment is insufferable to play into. So if you can play it properly, then again, very, very good. So again, going for the second dragon, they are deciding to give it for the side of G2, but this time you see Liliana actually walking into dragon to basically play G2's game how they've been playing it. We do get the TP coming in from Set, and Set will get spotted on that ward, which does give Ornn some potential to just push that wave in, which will be really, really good. Sunfire comes through for the Ornn. Going to give him the potential to actually get some kind of slight skirmishes off. But we do see Black Cleaver coming through first on the Vi. This is obviously for the fact that she is playing into Set, Sejuani and Nautilus, and she has a Zeri. So by going the Black Cleaver, she's amplifying Zeri's damage. Obviously Zeri is a large part magic damage also, but she is still going to hit like a truck with physical damage too. So they aren't going to look to stop this, I don't think. Or they're looking to... Okay, this was... Okay. That was actually a very, very good play from the side of Qlash. They waited until the Lulu was fully reset, and then due to the reset timers being off tempo, flash queued onto the Zeri and actually managed to get the cleanse and flash from Kaltis. So let's see. We do have the Trinity Force coming through on the Zeri now. This is again a huge power spike for the side of Zeri. So we'll see what they decide to do with this. Obviously, as soon as Xayah resets, she'll be able to get her item as well, but she's just trying to look to get kind of as much gold as she possibly can in this early kind of laning phase, just due to the fact that you do have to kind of stay for these extended periods of time on Xayah, because you need to be able to kind of snowball a little bit more compared to a Zeri. Zeri will do significant amounts more damage in the late game. So again, culls finished. No need to sell culls just yet, due to the fact that they don't need the item slots at the moment. So yeah, that's what we will see. So in general, Lissandra is getting into her Liandry's quite soon. So that's going to be quite big too. But we do see Vi come through here and is going to look for a lane gank. A very sneaky control ward there, because this now forces the side of Qlash to walk very deep into that bush to get that control ward. So what we will probably see is Nautilus walk in to try and get it, walk really deep to auto it, and now Vi is just going to jump. And the... Okay. Kaisana walked up to the ward to try and show that she's kind of to give the impression that she's been baited by it, and then instead of hitting the wall, just instantly wards in that middle brush, and again manages to survive. And now this actually gives Qlash the ability to just go straight to the Herald. So G2 do seem to be giving over quite a lot of pressure here, and they're just looking to rely on this Zeri scaling. Now, they do have Zeri and a Ornn, so it's completely fine. This is kind of similar to the compositions and stuff that Fnatic used to run, where what they would do is they would play these really big scaling picks. Sometimes they would have 3 scaling picks in 3 lanes, and what would end up happening is they would just look to full scale throughout the game, and then when they got to those big power spikes on those scaling picks, they would look to jump in and like have big team fights and then win off one or two really heavy team fights. So I'm curious to see if G2 are deciding to go into something similar like that, and if they are, at what point they are going to flick that switch and look to go for fights. Now, in my opinion, I think the point where they need to look to go for that, I don't know why my camera keeps saving. I mean, the point where I think they need to look to go into that is as soon as they have that Runens on the Zeri. As soon as Zeri does have that, the amount of damage output that she has will go up significantly, and she will have the ability to just completely run down the game. So that's what we are probably going to look for. And yeah, we'll see. Okay, unpause. So, we do see a little bit of a push on the dragon. Not the dragon, what am I saying? The tier 1 tower there. We do have a TP coming through from the Ari though, which again, not really that amazing. Like, I don't think she should have TP'd there, even giving away that tier 1 tower. I guess it does give a lot of pressure over to the Zeri, but now she just opens herself to get punished really hard in mid, and Vi actually manages to take this camp due to the fact that Lissandra will have prior there as well. Okay, really big fight coming through. Lizzie doesn't actually manage to get that ult back on the Nautilus, but the I mean, Kaltis does manage to still get a kill there though, which is really big. Sorry, I had to reply to a message. So, we do look to get some vision control inside the top of the jungle from the side of Qlash here. But again, Zeri is getting very close to this Runen's power spike. Again, 20 CS advantage for Kaltis, even in this kind of really bad matchup. But no, Colombo gets caught. Very unfortunate, and Sejuani manages to smite that away. So, I mean, unfortunate pick there, Lulu. You just can't walk in the jungle like that. We do get a first item Ardent now. So, over in China, Ardent has been extremely influential early, to the point that it's been getting very heavily influenced in the nerf list due to that. Obviously, first item Ardent is kind of new tech, but it's really good because it gives Zeri like a lot of potential, and again, large amounts of extra damage, and the attack speed buff really nice. The item did massively, so kind of similar to previous season. Season 7, Season 8 was literally a case of which support gets Ardent first, and how do they deny enemy ADC getting BF first when IE first was incredibly impactful before mythics and stuff were here. So the whole ADA meta was massive. So we're seeing that coming through now. So yeah, really, really important. So we do see Xayah now picking up her BF sword, but unfortunately a pause. Wonder what the well, I mean, I think mid maybe DC'd. Thankfully, they're on tournament realm because EOS was completely boomed earlier. My team couldn't even scrim because it was just completely gone for. Right, so I wonder what this pause is about. Obviously, mid did DC, but let's see. Again, one of the worst things when you're a player or even a coach and stuff like that is when you do get these technical issues that do lead to things like pausing when you're in these really impactful games, when you're really in the mood and you're hyper focused on everything that you're doing and going really well. It's super frustrating, tilting for pausing, but it's fine. So again, this game, if you are the side of G2, you are very happy with the game being so slow like this. You end up in a really good position, whereas when you have things like Zeri just kind of popping off, it's super good. Right, so again, if I'm Caltis here, I am loving this Remnant Spike. Again, going into Titanic, one of the big things with Zeri is once you do get past this spike, you end up in a position where you build a lot of HP. Which means that even if you do get jumped on, not as impactful. Now, again, kind of baiting it. Ornal coming through. They are walking into the all. Okay, Orn manages to predict the flash from Kaisana, and that actually gives a really good opportunity for Vi to just straight up ult. That was so clean from Lysia. Absolutely cracked. I mean, whenever it comes to things like that, I mean, partly it is also the Nautilus flashing the wrong way, but still really good. They are going to be looking to walk up here. They don't have the Vi ultimate or the Orn ultimate to go. Seth does manage to get a really big ult, though, and Zaya does a lot from the back. But again, Caltis is completely untouched, just completely going off, doing a ton of damage, so... Again, not too bad. The G2 can actually look to re-engage in this situation due to the fact that they do still have Sheena available. Orn did manage to get his mythic in base, but he does have a 30-second death timer, even though he does have TP. If they cancel this out, then they could potentially do a lot. They did kind of trade Orn's life for a North flash, but they did manage to get Set's ult, Sejuani's ult, Ari's ult, and Zaya's also. So now the side of G2 are in a position where they can do a lot. Blue team... Unfortunate, Qlash do manage to actually get the dragon there, and Tifa did manage to get caught by a rogue CC, which did unfortunately end up killing her off. Caltis did manage to do some damage, but again manages to get to safety. Unfortunately, that stopwatch was already used, but they're looking to re-engage, especially because Orn is here. Orn ult is nearly coming up, and this is one of the perfect areas that they want to fight. Zeri manages to get her ult off now, and Orn ult is almost coming up. This could potentially be Baron if they manage to play this right. Oh, unfortunately, Caltis did use her E in the wrong way. Kind of, she fell short, so she didn't get a little bit of tempo, and there she did kind of hit it on that kind of shy little bit of wall. I think, anyway, I think that's what I saw. But again, now Orn has this ultimate available, and they can look to potentially pressure this Baron, especially with the Nautilus down, and also the fact that nobody has got vision control of this Baron area due to the fact that it's all around this bot side for the dragon. Unfortunately, they do kind of have this skirmish, and again, well, I mean, unfortunately for G2, fortunately for Qlash, they do manage to get that in that dragon away, which again, Ocean Soul is pretty nice, but I don't know if Ocean Soul is going to actually do enough with the Zeri damage going wild, especially considering now we have ornaments coming out, plus 2k gold for the side of G2 with the ornaments on the Zeri and the Orn. So again, the gold is almost dead even. For the side of Qlash, they do have two advantages in Dragon, about 2,500 gold advantage from that. But in general, you know, if I am playing Zeri here, I am very happy. 40 CS advantage, also giving, you know, about 450 500 gold advantage there too, on top of the 2 kills and the 1,000 gold from Trinity Force. We are in a position where we could potentially see a really big pop-off game from Caltis here, especially considering she has scaled quite well. We're at 25 minutes with a Zeri and Orn. This is looking really good for the side of G2, but again, Qlash have shown that they're not willing to just fall out here. They are looking to end this out. We do have the Gale Force coming through for the Zaya, which might be a massive instrument to their success if she can manage to snipe somebody down with that. Nautilus clearing that ward out, trying to kind of bait the Zeri to walk up so that the Sejuani can just jump on her, but not going to be able to. Tiamat is going to do work for the Zeri as well. It's the thing with Zeri is you just get so much splash damage, especially when you use your ultimate, which again is a massive range. And as you can see here, so much damage on the wave, and does manage to clear it really quick, especially with that enhanced W in the wall. And they're going to actually get this tier 1 in mid, look to continuously push down. Zaya is caught out, does have to use ultimate. This is one of the reasons why you want to go Zaya when you're into things like the Vi and Orn that just want to kind of jump on you and do a ton of damage. So again, looking like Qlash want to just continue kind of keeping control of this top side, but Blue trinket comes down, spots that they are not on Baron. Another blue trinket comes down, but this is a lot of blue trinkets down for G2. Are they going to fall for this mistake or needs to walk first? They do manage to get a charm on the Lulu, but it doesn't really matter. She managed to get big ult from the Silas, but again, Kaltis in the back doing so much damage. Uses her E to just hop over, has to flash away, but this is really, really good for Kaltis. Absolutely going to melt the entire enemy team, and this is why you go Zeri. What? She is crazy. Just deciding to just completely run into them, and this is kind of why this champion is so unbelievably good. The amount of HP that you can build in it just means that you can take these really risky plays, and that is G2's Baron now. Oof. Kaltis deciding that she will not be losing this tournament. She wants that prize for. I mean, to be fair, I'm just kidding. I mean, it's not really about the prize with stuff like this. It's about obviously supporting these kind of women to just come and show why they are the best, or some of the best in Europe. Not even specific for gender, just why they are some of the best players that Europe has to offer. And I think that's the important part with these kind of tournaments is we're not here to see who the best women are in each role. We're just here to see some high-level gameplay, and I mean, this is certainly delivered. I mean, some of the plays that Kaltis has been making goes to show why she is one of the best and just completely popping off. Now finished the Titanic Hydra, also going to try and get this dragon. Obviously, the side of Qlash deciding they are just going to give this. This is only the second dragon for the side of G2, and it is a little bit rough that they are using their Baron to do the dragon. But again, pulling it out, they don't actually have much vision of the Sejuani. They don't want her to hop up the wall and steal it, but they don't actually know that they are deciding to just give it. So let's see. Again, Zyra at this point is still going to do a massive amount of damage, don't get me wrong, but 3 items on the Zeri to only 2.5, or sorry, 3 and a third, should I say, over to the Zeri, whereas only 2.5 to the Zyra. So Zeri's going to be pumping out a massive amount of damage. Does have a big shutdown, but at this point of the game, you're not really worried about shutdowns, because if you do give that shutdown, you're probably going to lose the game just from the fact that you are dead for such a long death timer. Anyway, your death timer is obviously based on your level in the game, so they are going to be dead for quite a substantial time at this point. They do have this Baron to just keep kind of buffing up these waves, so Tifa going to look to try and get some damage on this tower. Unfortunately, she's not going to get it. They don't have a big enough minion wave, but the entire team are kind of coming down. Vi looking to try and charge that Q over the wall. Definitely do not want to go for that, but on this next wave could potentially get this Baron and this tier 2 tower. So 550 gold going over. Obviously it is split between 3 for 188 each, but it doesn't really matter as much at this point of the game, just for the fact that they want to get these minions doing as much damage as possible and get as close to their base as they can. Ari making sure that they cannot siege that top wave as early, but they do manage to get another tier 2 inside of mid lane. Obviously mid lane not giving us much gold over, but that doesn't really matter too much. Just looking to try and get this tier 1, tier 2 in top now, and then look to try and play the map, take away enemy jungle camps, and now we can see this gold lead as finally pumped up to about a 5k lead now for the side of G2, and a lot of this is inside of the Zeri. We do see the Mikaels come through from the Lulu now, obviously opting not to go into a mythic item because, you know, I mean, sure she can go Shurelya's, but Zeri doesn't really benefit as much from that Shurelya's. She's going to benefit from the CC cleanse instead that Mikaels can provide, especially if, say, the Sejuani ult comes through or the Aru charm comes down. Just means that Zeri also doesn't have to itemize into something like a QSS and can just continuously keep building this huge damage profile that she has built up. So again, this is a much safer way to play the game. This is how I prefer the game to be played. Go for kind of big scaling picks and just slowly look to. It's kind of like how like an anaconda works, right? Like they just slowly look to suffocate the enemy and kind of go from there, which is kind of what this playstyle where you have these big late game kind of tanks and these huge AD carries kind of comes from. You're just looking to slowly strangle out the enemy team until they don't have anywhere else to go but to make a desperation play, and then as soon as they make that desperation play, that's when you just take over the game. You use your scaling and your item advantages to just go crazy. We have the 4th item coming through from the Zeri and a Vampiric Scepter also. Probably going to look to go into a Bloodthirster, but I'm pretty sure at this point in the game they are not looking to get to that 6th item or 5th item, depending on if you count boots, whatever. So, a huge amount of damage coming through. About to get level 16. Well, actually, no, nowhere near level 16 just yet. Recently only just got 16. But, again, Xayah is at 14 already. Nautilus sitting on level 11. Obviously, Lulu is on level 12 as well. But it means that when Nautilus does look to go for an engage, the Zeri can look potentially to just melt him away. And one of the big things that we see from this game also is we have... obviously 4 ornaments in the game currently. Now the issue that we're going to have is Lulu doesn't actually... Okay, really big fight. It doesn't actually matter. Qlash does get caught, but it doesn't... Oh, that's so sad. Manages to give 1,000 gold over. Does get caught. Now a large amount of G2's damage is gone, but Ornn is a huge... Never mind, actually. They still do massive amounts of damage. And Tifa is really huge at this point. Obviously, one of the things that I was saying before is one of the issues that we have is because Lulu doesn't have a mythic item, Ornn can't upgrade it, so they do lose overall gold from there, but I do feel like the Mikhails is more important. We'll have to watch that one back in VOD because it was very, very quick, but a nice quick fight. Qlash did use Flash to survive and pump out more damage, didn't actually manage to get a full kill. She can also use the sets... shield though, which is really good. She can steal some of that shield, which is very, very powerful. Gonna help her survive. But they managed to get this 3rd dragon now. That's going to give them a bit more sustain in these fights too, which is going to be huge. But it also puts them on soul point, which is obviously really, really big, considering Qlash got the first 3 dragons and now 3 are coming through for the side of G2. So huge, big. Let's see where they go to from here. They're looking to try and take control of this Baron side of the map now, just because they do still have the tempo advantage from those initial kills. Zeri did die, so she managed to spend whatever gold she did. I think she bought a potion. I'm not entirely sure. We'd have to see her buff bar. Probably bought a potion. I'm fairly certain she would have had 500 gold to actually purchase that, and she doesn't have enough gold to get Bloodthirster yet because it's her last item. It's going to take a large amount of time. Maybe I would have preferred a stopwatch to come in instead of the Vampiric Scepter, if I'm completely honest, just because in that situation she would have actually survived. But again, hindsight's 2020. I do think stopwatch is the better item on 1, but again, because they've got complete vision control of this Baron, they can just start it up really quick. Zeri will melt it quite quick. Again, Baron only has 70 MR to 120 armor. So when you do have mages, they can shred it really, really quick. Getting it super low, they do still have the debuff, but it's fine. They're in a really big choke point. Ornn ult will be huge here. Unfortunately, the Zeri can't get in, but this is huge. Settle comes just on the vibe, but Zeri gets to do so much damage, and this is over. G2, oh, amazing knockup from the Ornn. Lizzie are really, really showing mastery of this Ornn with a knockup, and that is the game. So G2 will take this. Really, really good play from the side of G2. They kind of fell back to what they've been playing and what they're kind of good at, and there we have it. We have the winners of this Pathfinders tournament. The favourites to win, but I think G2 definitely showed throughout here that they can definitely bleed. And amazing games. This was a really, really good tournament. I mean, I wonder if let's see what the casters have to say before we have a quick VOD review of that.